Filling the hard drives.
Betwixt the raising of the undying emperor and the great planar war that shook the heavens, there was an age of contradiction, where cannons won kingdoms and muskets kept the peace. A brave few won the hearts of the conquered and conquerors alike. Of these we speak of the decline of the great kingdoms and cultures under the heel of empire. Of those we speak of gladiators and the untold thousands that worshipped them.
Of this an age of glory.
Where kings would be slaves and a gladiator would be king.
Greetings and welcome to Die Dragon Die presents the Dread and Circus Campaign Season 3, Episode 19. Where is my face? My face is here. Whoops. My face is here. There we go. And where are the faces of... Ooh, drum roll. There's Mark, and his mouth is now noisy. And, and we've got Ahmed, and his... mouth is now noisy. Hot mics, hot mics. Welcome, guys. This is it's been a couple of weeks, I think. Maybe a week and a half since we played last. Which feels really weird. Ahmed was starting to have conniptions in the emails that I was receiving almost daily basis that he needed some game.
Hey guys, where we can play a game? Hey guys, I'm ready now.
So
I'm sitting here with my character sheets open and VC is on. Can anyone hear me? Oh, hello.
Hello.
Anyone there?
All right, so let's see if we remember how to do this after a week and a half. How is everyone doing? First, let's get that out of the way.
I put in 84 hours in the last 7 days, so I'm a little fucking tired.
Great, perfect. you are malleable for D&D.
Oh shit.
Ahmed, how's it going
I'll
with you?
wait till 2 in the morning to ask him to sell his soul.
I'm good. My work hours have gotten back to normal, so pretty good.
Pretty good? Okay.
Pretty good.
Yeah. You're telling your kids weird stories about the legends?
Kids are like, tell us a story, tell us a story. I'm like, well, I already got a really good content going on. So I used all the legends heroes and put them into the history of a story that I'm telling them, where they are the heroes, and the heroes have done something to the magic in the world, and it's coming back, and they're discovering it. It's really fun. It's really fun. They're enjoying it.
So it's like you took the characters from the Legends campaign, and you're just spinning yarns around that. Well, that's pretty cool that you that you like the campaign world and those characters so much that your children now know who Uker
They
is.
see Arnold Schwarzenegger and
Yeah, that's pretty good too.
My son is telling the story to his friends in school. And he's like, yeah, they can't wait to tell me the story so I can tell my friends.
That's awesome. Growth for the channel. Like 10 years from now. Yeah, no, let's not tell 10-year-olds to come to the channel.
No, 7-year-olds.
Oh, okay, whatever.
It's worse.
No. We'll wait. We'll wait until they can get past the mature flag. Okay, why don't we do a recap of what happened last game? We were chatting about this before we started. Game 18 was in nobility. Arlen transports Phineas, Countess Opal, Lady Bellavina, and Sir Paldro, including Undwin, to Terra's Lean for safety. Apparently, after the visit that Countess Opal got and the mission that Phineas is on now for the Duke, have made the whole group of them decide that it's no longer safe in Vaddapol.
Funny enough, Arlen went there because he wanted her moved because of the shadows.
Interesting.
Like, I think something like, well, this is more reason to move your ass over.
Ashoka receives a gift from his familiar Nem. Sid is visited by Inquisitor Caleb Goodman, who gives Sid a strange job to perform. Magnus is released into Ashoka's custody. Damian recruits Ashoka and Sid to help him track down pirates that have attacked his family's ships. The trio teleport to Vinvasa, the imperial capital on Terrak, and look into the Van Impe family and business. So just a bit of geography. So here is Vaddapol on the coast. Terra's Lean, or Citadel by the Lake, as the Imperials call it, is way the heck up here. Many hundreds of miles to the north. Each of these hexes is 60 miles. Vaddapol is far from Vinvasa. They were able to teleport first to Cantaport, which is a dangerous city, and then to Vinvasa. After fiddling around in Vinvasa for a while and looking through his father's ledgers, as well as talking to a person that works for, I don't have the name of the big multi-conglomerate company on the tip of my lips. I will look it up. Pirate plot.
I think it was the Far East something company?
The Imperial East Terrak Company. You spoke to a man by the name of...
Oh, I know.
I don't have his name here.
I wrote it down.
Hey, Electrical Longboard, thanks for the raid. Wow, that's a large group of people. Welcome to the channel. We are just starting out. We can do a quick recap of what is going on. Damian Van Imp, played by Mark, and Sid are traveling to the capital city. They're trying to figure out what has happened to Damian's family's shipping. This is sort of a side quest from the gladiator stuff that was going on. We left off with Ashoka staring out at a group of refugees that have come to the world of Terrak. And amongst them are a number of humans that look different from Imperials. There are gnolls and centaurs that are amongst their group. And apparently they're working for cheap at the docks of the port town just outside of Vinvasa. And Damian is trying to figure out basically what has happened to his family's ships. And I think this led them to go and visit the harbor master of Princeport, which is a city just outside of Vinvasa, the big imperial capital. Ashoka seemed to be interested in following up with these laborers. You don't quite understand. He does go and talk to them for a little while, and he realizes that they are from another empire. This is not a very common thing to happen, as the Imperium typically doesn't put up with other empires. At least those that are not strong enough to stand on their own. And you want to give me a roll for Ashoka? I know Ashoka is not here, or Adam's not here, but it's the three of you guys: Ashoka, Damian, and
What skill do you want?
I want diplomacy to gather information for Ashoka.
well,
Ashoka's
I
trying to
rolled-
figure out where these people came from.
Hang on. I rolled a 14 and a
Plus 27, so 41. Which is pretty.
So
impressive.
Ashoka ends up spending some time with a bald monk in bright orange robes, and the monk speaks of the Empire Arisen. He says that it goes by the kingdom or the empire goes by many names. You learn that Gazaria is one of the names. And that the emperor is known as the Dragon Emperor.
Already?
He asks some further questions like, well, why are you here? And you learn that while Gezar was a loved king, they kind of use the word king and emperor interchangeably, not something that is common for the Imperium to do. The Imperium suffers no kings. These people seem to have no problem saying like king and emperor almost interchangeably. Of course, it means something different.
Yeah.
But this King Gezar, unlike the past one that is almost revered like a god, this King Gezar is feared. And his greedy talon has stretched. And they use the word talon. Ashoka spent some time doing the interpretation, like, what do you actually mean? And he's got his comprehend languages spell up. His talon has spread to many worlds and misery with it.
Alrighty.
Ashoka, after speaking to them, kind of returns to Damian and continues the story. Very interesting people. I might think that they might have a connection, says the snake man, Ashoka, to where my people came from.
I thought you came from Volcanica.
I'm talking about before that.
How did they get here?
They came through the song gates, Sid. I'm sure you know of such things, says Ashoka.
But traveling like this freely? Interesting.
No, they came here fleeing some war that their emperor had forced their people into.
Generous of the Empire, they are.
They have strange stories that the Empire is chaotic and their emperor has a great thirst for wealth and magic.
Well, who doesn't? Really?
He spoke of strange and massive bowls placed outside of cities, and that strong men and sometimes the emperor himself will come and collect the bowls when they are full of offerings.
You mean collect the contents?
No,
Things
the
inside.
bowls. Apparently the Dragon Emperor of Gazaria is very strong, to the point where he can pick up mountains.
Shit.
Well, that sounds like a gross exaggeration. No offense to the people. Kijuji, wherever they're from.
He shows you something that one of the dock workers scribbled on, and you could see that there's this man with 3 dragon heads holding up a big bowl full of treasure.
Oh yeah. That was
It must be true now.
Curious. That's what Ashoka just leaves at, and then the rest of his thoughts are kind of tumbling inside his mind.
Yeah.
Do we know where the song gate is in this world?
Yes, it is in Vinvasa, and it's probably in the same. It's in the same or very close to the same structure that you guys teleported to.
Teleported into.
Remember the teleportation spike that drew the teleportations in as a way to control magical transportation? That place that citadel was very guarded, and the Song Gate is probably somewhere near that spire. They wouldn't have it too far away.
I wouldn't imagine.
Sid didn't come from off-world. Ashoka probably knows where it is. Damian is from this world, so.
All right.
It is highly regulated, and trade through the Song Gates, you would have to be a much more influential family to have connections off-world to send the goods. Although you do know the goods that Damian's father was hoping to get from the distant continent of Stygia was destined probably for the imperial capital of the Empire, not just the imperial capital on Terrak.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So, maybe if things go badly, we can get out of here.
Where should we resume our investigation? Says Ashoka.
I've gone through all the books. Your father keeps notes, good notes, but I've gone through them all. Nothing new. Nothing new.
No, well, we have a week to wait before the Harbour Master gives us any information.
Perhaps I can spy on some of...
You've gone through recent stuff. There's other stuff in the book that still requires research. Like you haven't gone through 2 or 3 generations worth of business notes.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'll keep digging.
Yeah.
On second thought, there's a couple of books I might have thrown to the side.
Yeah, it's this gigantic book. It goes back probably decades. Your grandfather or your grandfather's father probably started the book, Damian.
I'm gonna look for something interesting to look for repeated ship names or captain names.
Okay.
That occur throughout generations. Like this guy should be dead by now.
So you're looking for patterns that cross generations, the 3 generations. Okay. What are you doing, Damian, in the 5 days you're waiting for the harbor master?
He is going to kind of go to high society places and try to gather information if his father had made any, had more angered someone more enough to warrant this sort of attack on the family. I'm sure he's made enemies, but was it bad enough to hire pirates?
Okay, so you're gathering information to see if your father had enemies.
Well, he knows he had enemies. It's just who was the worst one and how bad was that animosity.
Got it. Okay. So, Sid, give me your appraise or profession merchant roll as you're going through these old ledgers, looking for patterns. And then Damian, give me a diplomacy check to gather information. I'm going to give you a +2 because you are noble, and moving around noble circles are probably easier for you.
Yeah, okay, so that 28 becomes a 30.
Okay, and then Sid?
31.
All right, so you're trying to figure out who your father's enemies. There is another noble family that hated your family. I need a name for them.
The Lafayettes.
Noble name generator. Noble house name generator. Here we go.
You actually found that?
Yep.
Yes.
The Galumas. Galloms.
All right, so noble family name generator. House name generator.
Yeah.
Amat of Dame, welcome to the channel. Thanks for the follow, and let us know if you have any questions. Feel free to roll dice. You can do that by, let's roll a fireball. Have fun. Yeah. So all of these look really weird. Oh, French names. There we go.
Yeah, use the French names. They're better. I like this name, Drake-Cloud. This one.
Okay, the Roquestels. The Roquestels are a family that a long time ago, and this bugs you to the day, and they're a very beautiful looking family. They prize themselves on the way that they look. But a long time ago, apparently their blood mingled with that of angels. And they had a paladin in their family. And they've never let... They had an important paladin lord, and they've never let anyone forget that fact. So the Roquestels really don't like the Van Imps because, the Imps are clearly involved with devilry, and we would never. So with your 30, you end up realizing that this beef between the Van Imps and the Roquestels has gone back actually to your great-grandfather.
Okay.
Now, this is even, this isn't him tangling with a paladin. This is like him tangling with a paladin's grandson.
Yeah.
And the beef was over... It was over something that your great-grandfather and the patriarchs of the Roquestels at the time, they were explorers on Terrak.
Okay.
And several family members actually got into duels and died.
Oh, we can bring that back.
Over something they found on a joint expedition. Your great-grandfather and the equivalent aged person of the Roquestels were on the same boat journey.
Okay.
They're on the same expedition, and they found something that your two families have squabbled over, apparently, to this day. You hate the Roquestels, and you don't know why.
Okay.
Where it is?
No, that's the kind of the gist of the conversation. Oh yeah, they fought because they got into an argument. There was a mutiny or something on an exploration expedition, and you're all getting kind of sixth-hand information that has traveled 50 years down, and you need to dig not in the hearsay circles of high nobility, but
So
you were able to glean this little thing no one ever told me this. No one ever told me that the blonde-haired bastards from Roquestel bugged me as a child because this beef went back to some mutiny somewhere on the high seas while they were exploring Terrak.
Okay. Now, knowledge...
And the Roquestel family, the family crest is a...
angel?
No, it's a beautiful gold flower.
Okay.
You remember making fun of it like it's the color of... It's a yellow flower on some places because gold's expensive.
It's a tea tulip.
Yeah, exactly. It's a somebody peed on your tulip or yellow, it's the scaredy flower, and you got into fights with childish fights. And I need to write this name down as we're developing the lore on the fly. I will do this in my trusty book.
Oh, okay. Maybe you said we'll find out more about this.
Yeah, well, I'm going to ask you to.
Okay, so Damian, a few days into this, Ashoka spends a lot of time actually just concentrating. What he's actually concentrating on is the dominate person spell he put on that servant in the Van Imp family, and is just spying on your extended family. This is the woman that you were supposed to marry, but your brother married instead.
Yeah.
Isn't his brother missing?
His brother is away on business, and Ashoka's been trying to.
He's hiding from his wife.
Yes, he's high, but where?
Oh, he's like in one of 3 places. He is really hiding from his wife. He's on safari somewhere down south.
Roquestel, Paladin, gold, like a golden tulip is their heraldry. Okay.
Roquestels.
So Damian comes back. Sid, what was your role on looking through the ledger?
Right. I wanted to roll, take 20 on a knowledge, history, or nobility, or geography. What or where is this place we were fighting over?
Yeah, I guess you're a bard. This is a secret between your two families, but there's a chance that you could have picked up something. So
Okay.
what do you want to know? What or where?
What?
Okay.
I get a 30 if I take 20.
Are you taking 20?
Yeah.
Your family was fighting over a flower.
Okay.
Guess we know who took the flower.
I know what I'm thinking.
Crash now.
They were fighting over an orchid. Something they found deep in the jungles of the tropics.
Okay. All right.
It's a question for Phineas, I think.
Oh, they must be fighting over that.
In legend lore.
I need a French first name for an old man.
Jacques.
Pierre.
Jacques Pierre.
Jean Pierre.
Jean-Luc.
Jean-Luc. Yeah. Sébastien.
François.
Jean-Luc.
Okay. Damian, while you were kind of poking around at it, this one noble says, well, you know who would probably know? It'd be Jacques Pierre. And you're like, Jacques Pierre?
Who's Jacques Pierre?
You know, the old man. Give me a knowledge nobility.
Take 10, get 20.
Jacques Pierre is the name of the son of the person that got into the fight with your great-grandfather. He would be 130 years old.
Okay, now I just want to meet him because he's 130 years old.
I don't know if I do. Naturally, 130 is not something we get to.
Oh yeah, he still creeps around the attic of Citadel Roquestels. Citadel. This family just loves their family tradition of having a paladin, and in fact, they've got more of a castle than they do a manor. Whereas the Van Impe manor is kind of like a Romanesque manor, where your brother's inherited manor is more like a French estate.
Yeah.
These people live in a castle.
Okay.
It's kind of attached to part of the walls around Vinvasa, but they live in a castle.
Okay.
So you guys have teleported back from Princeport to Vinvasa to go and kind of look around. Given that there's just the three of you, keeping an eye on the house, looking through the ledger, and asking some questions about nobles, it probably takes 1 day out of the 5 days. I know we're doing planning in this campaign around 5-day chunks. So you guys arrived here. You did some looking around. That's probably a day or two, and then you're into. We'll say you're into the 3rd day at this point.
Okay. I will.
No, we'll get to Sid. So Damian comes back to the Van Impe Manor, and Sid has been spending several days looking through this ledger. What was the roll?
31. 1 median.
Yes. There are a few things in here that don't make sense. You do find that periodically in the last 50 years or so, there have been expeditions that have simply been exploring.
Says
Now this part of the world has been mapped, so exploring seems to be a really weird thing for them to do.
Does it say where?
It does say where. It hones around the nearby tropical areas. Electrical longboard. Thanks for the raid. Wow.
Thank you.
Cool. Welcome to the channel. Let's have a look at the world of Remap. Okay, you guys are here. This is where Princeport and the capital city is. They were looking somewhere in the jungles that reached from Abalash all the way to Uxtapol. They weren't going down to the Protectorate of Silden, but they were convinced that it was somewhere in this island chain that that separates the Vastian Ocean from the Sea of Sunken Crowns.
Have we connected with? Has Sid connected with Damian yet?
Yeah. Damian returns back and sees Sid poring over the book and Ashoka just sitting in a rocking chair, kind of spaced out.
Where would these orchids grow? What temperature? Do you think that your family went looking for more?
Knowledge, geography, or nature?
Yeah, so the tropics start probably around Abalash and go down as far as Uxtapol, kind of like this band.
Yeah.
Did Damian's father send any?
Stygia is a much warmer continent than Avacia is. Did Damian's father send an expedition? Yeah, he apparently also sent a couple of Hail Marys. And in the margin you actually have a note that says hunting for the orchid.
Damian,
Okay. Yes.
did your father tell your brother about this? He didn't obviously tell, but maybe he told your brother.
It's possible. He was always much closer to Marcel than he was myself.
We need to find out if your brother knows. If he doesn't, then your father would have kept notes or books about this. Something private.
Sitting in his study, there was clearly enough shelf space for a library, and Damian, you remember he has a library here. It is not something that he brought with him to to Vaddapol, and his books are not here. So you don't know where the rest of his books and papers and things are.
Did we already search for hidden compartments and hidden rooms
Yeah,
and offices here?
In this room we did. We used to detect.
Okay, Sid wants to do the same thing starting from the library and then going out.
Okay. You find some servant crawl spaces, like kind of like the skinny skinny hallways for servants.
I just picture them opening one up. There's like a dead halfling skeleton. We're like, oh, let's close that.
Sid is using detect secret doors.
Yeah, you end up finding some secret doors. It might have been the place where Damian's family would have stored some things of wealth. You find a secret compartment in the kitchen area where you would have kept like silver. All these places are empty and don't hold any other secrets. Damian's family home is sizable, but it's not hard to spend an afternoon to look over.
Need to find out about that orchid.
Well, there is a man I might be able to speak to.
And there's also another place that might have that information.
Where's that?
In the other family's home. If
Oh,
you want, we need to take a look.
I most certainly do. I'll try to squeeze it out of the old man first. I would like to meet him. Apparently, the grandson... It's relevant. He's 130 years old and he's supposed to be human.
Interesting. Are you sure you'll be fine alone?
Oh, quite so.
want me to come along?
Yes.
In the shadows.
Of course I do, my friend. Of course I do.
All right, we'll plan it then.
Just remember, no ruckus till I'm out of there. Or if I need to get out of there, of course.
If I have to, I'll make it quick. 2 in the eyeballs.
Okay, you soon find yourself in the capital city, near the great river that bisects the city, kind of outside the gates of this big dreary-looking castle. It's got beautiful banners hanging off of it. They seem to be in the process of reconstructing one of the towers. There's some scaffolding. There are people coming to and fro. You're kind of ignored because the city is busy. Mm-hmm. It's like a castle that long since lost its purpose because it's sort of like in the middle of the city as opposed to on the outskirts. There are little boats that are tied up outside on some moorings. You could almost walk into the courtyard if you wanted to.
Okay.
Yeah, he'll just walk in. He's looking up like he's a little lost.
Okay.
I'm stealthing along, Marty.
You're stealthing, and your stealth check is what?
Ridiculous.
As a bat,
Put it this way, do they have mythic guards?
54.
That's sick.
Okay, give me a D3. 1, you actually spot the old man. 3, something else. D3.
Oh, an angel paladin would live for a long time, wouldn't he?
I need a D3 from one of you.
Go ahead, Mark.
Oh.
Or Mark.
Yeah, I'm getting there. 3.
Okay. Instead, a couple of guards approach you. The guards do have muskets. They're on their back. They're not pointing them at you. Can I help you?
Yes. Lord Damian Van Impe to see Lord... Oh, fuck, what's his name? Something Pure.
Jacques Pierre.
Lord Jacques Pierre Roquestels.
What business do you have with the old man?
I have some questions about an orchid.
Give me a diplomacy check.
39.
He's up in that tower.
Would I be disturbing him?
One of them says, probably getting his breeches changed, and they kind of chuckle.
Damian raises an eyebrow at that kind of talk about their lord.
Go on up. His maids will let you know if he's taking visitors.
Thank you, gentlemen. He tips his hat.
Yep.
And he heads over to the tower.
Oh, your sword, please.
Oh, of course. Well, he's got like 2 swords.
Yeah, you're armed.
Sword, knife.
They take your weapons and they go over to the main gate, where there's a guardhouse, and they just dump the swords there.
Do they know he knows kung fu?
They watch you cross to make sure that you're going into the tower.
Yeah.
The tower is a museum of like ships and nautical stuff. There are ship's wheels and bits of rigging and banners that were obviously flying from ships and old masts, like pieces of them. There are other smaller like sea chests that are open with stuff in them, not like overflowing with coins or anything like that, but like an old helmet or an old sword. Some hooks and pins and an old rusty cannon that has a name.
Yeah.
It was called the bearded death, and you could see that it had sort of like it must have melted on the end a little bit to look like a beard.
Yeah. Frivolous as Damian is, he does have an interest in history, and he takes a lot of it in as he walks up the town.
You notice that they have converted the stairwell into a ramp.
How steep is this ramp?
It's pretty damn steep. Well, they kind of like made this weird ramp that angles further down into the room, and it makes it sort of awkward.
Okay, he chuckles a little bit as he pictures an old man in an Arlen chair flying down the ramp. Okay.
Okay.
Starts heading up the ramp.
Okay, you head up the ramp. There is a bathtub, some soiled laundry, several maids that are there. You there? What are you doing here?
I'm here to see Jacques-Pierre Roquestel.
Is he awake? Yeah, he just had his nap. You be careful with the old man.
I have some questions for him about an orchid.
Well, good luck. He's grumpy today.
Perhaps I can cheer him up.
The two servants don't stop you. They're curious as to why a man is here, but they're not surprised that somebody's here.
Okay, Damian's a little shocked because he's like, I can walk in and kill him, and no one's gonna stop me. They just pointed me directly to him. All right.
Well, they know who you are. You can go in and kill him, and then be wanted by the family.
I could have come with a hat of disguise.
Yeah,
Ashoka.
yeah. You walked in, knocked, told people who you were. You wanted to chat to some dude. You gave up your weapons. Nobles visit each other. Apparently the hatred has not translated well to the guards. You haven't run into any of the thugs or toughs of the Roquestels. They might be busy or off doing other things.
Doing angel paladin things.
Or they were into shipping and trade as well. So they might be busy, or they might not be home. So Damian goes upstairs, and you can see that there's this old man sitting in a seat. There's a blanket across his lap. He looks frail. I mean, to the point where you probably don't want to touch him. Frail. And
Hey, Foxfire, what's going on, man?
I will put Jacques. And the servants don't notice a little tiny squeaky bat kind of going into the room. He's staring out at this nice view of the river, and there is a church to the five-faced god across the river. You can hear the church bell kind of tolling, and some people moving around, and some shouting from the river. Just regular river traffic, and he seems to be just sort of lost in reverie.
Okay.
Big ass ears for an old man, frail, kind of hunched over a little bit in his chair. He's sitting there quietly. His skin is, well, that.
Yes.
He still has some hair, though.
Yeah.
He looks good for 130.
Damian looks around for a chair to sit.
Oh yeah, there are some benches along the wall. There is a chair kind of politely for a guest off to the side.
He'll pull the chair up and sit
Okay.
next to him.
He seems to still not have noticed that you have come into the room.
And he tells him a joke before he even introduces himself.
Okay? What is the theme of the joke?
It's nautical.
What is the punchline of the joke, Mark?
And that's why they call them seamen.
Okay, give me a perform check to see if you can snap the old man out of his reverie.
33.
Okay.
Decent.
His eyes move more than his head does. Is kind of like trying to get you into view. His eyesight might not be very well because he's still struggling. Like a person should be able to see from that angle,
Yeah.
but You might have to position yourself a little bit further in front of
He
him.
moves himself more in front of him.
A big-ass smile crosses his face. And a shaky hand reaches out and touches your knee. It kind of taps it.
Damian kind of touches the hand without trying to break his skin.
Pushes it away, like, touch me.
Mermaids.
Yes, mermaids. Yes.
Tell me one about mermaids.
Oh, just Damian. No joke. Make a joke about mermaids.
Sure.
He tells a real knee slapper that he fixed on.
What's the punchline of this one, Mark?
But at least she's got a mouth.
Oh, there's a boyish grin that that crosses his face, and a twinkle in his eye as he taps your leg again. Mermaids, they're deadly, you know. Their song drove us into the sea. Their seaweed grabs us.
Sounds like quite a harrowing tale.
Oh, yes, yeah.
I was hoping you could tell me a tale about a flower, actually.
He shakes his head. You could tell there's a bit of reticence there.
This orchid.
He's now watching you with suspicion.
It's been the source of a great deal of sorrow for a long time now.
You're not one of mine.
No.
He's looking at your hair. While his hair is white, it could have been blonde in earlier days.
No, I am not.
You're not pure.
No, I've never been accused of being pure. But I am funny, and that counts for something.
He devolves into a wicked cough that could be a death rattle.
Ladies, do you have something for your lord's cough?
A couple of ladies did come up and they heard them cough. They heard it stop, and they kind of just toddle on back downstairs like they're in the middle of a conversation and didn't quite poke their head in, made sure he was okay, and then went back down the stairs. You get the sense that he's been here for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Would you like to get out of the tower for a little while?
Where?
Oh, just to walk around the grounds. You have a lovely garden.
A ship.
You want to go to a ship?
Yes. I haven't been on a ship in a long time.
You know, I think we can arrange that. Ashoka's not with us today, though.
Ashoka's just outside the castle. Like, he didn't go into the human castle being a snake man. He figured that might be red flags. Yeah. But he's lingering around outside.
Yes, I believe we can get you to a ship today. Is that what you'd like?
A good ship. A good
Best we can find.
Okay.
All right then, it's settled.
He trembles a little bit, half smile, half frown. It's old man, wells of emotion swelling up. But he is watching you. He understands.
Yeah, he grabs the chair. And goes, There we go. We'll go slowly down the ramp.
Where are you going? He's not supposed to leave the sea tower.
That's not what he wants.
It's not what we're ordered to do. The old man's got to stay up here. It's his bath time soon.
No, he'll have a bath. We'll make sure of it.
They are putting up a fuss.
Ladies, ladies, ladies. The old gentleman would like one last chance on board the deck of a ship. Would you really deny him that? We'll have him back in plenty of time.
It's not what our orders are.
And if you were ordered to kill the man, would you do that?
Lord Sebastian said, and they seem to like they're standing in front of you, like you'd have to.
Oh, Lord Sebastian knows. Lie. I don't lie.
Give me a bluff check.
31.
Oh, all right. Who are you, my
Oh,
lord?
Damian Van Impe.
Okay, they seem unsure, but they kind of let you by. You get the sense that they follow you down the ramp. You kind of get them down to the bottom of the ramp. Now there's the courtyard with the guards and the hustle and bustle. You do see that they had a quick conversation. Like your lie got you through them, but it looks like one of them is heading over towards where the guardhouse is.
Okay. Quickly move over to Ashoka.
Okay, so you're going across the courtyard. You're gonna go right past the guardhouse. To give me an initiative check to see if you make it out before the guards can step out and stop you.
Oh no! Oh yes.
Okay, so alright, as you're gonna roll the old man by, a bat's now sitting on your shoulder. As you're rolling the old man out of the castle, you notice Ashoka just with his hood up across the way. He kind of goes like this, like, what the fuck are you doing?
Are we kidnapping?
The guards are like, hey!
To the harbor.
To the Batmobile.
You want to go to Princeport?
Yes, please.
Are we taking him with us?
Yes, it's his dream.
Stop with the chair right now! There are two guards that are now trying to aim their muskets, but there's people walking by, and you kind of moved out into the street. Ashoka is able to teleport with the old man to Princeport.
Yep.
Sid comes along with them. I guess Sid let kind of crawl. It was obviously visible on Damian's shoulder. His eyes go wide as he sees the ships. He claps.
There we go. Now let's find you a ship.
Good ship.
Yes, well, you are the expert. You can let me know.
Not that one. You go rolling down the harbor, little wheels on his wheeled chair, kind of clicking against the wooden planks of the docks. He eventually stops at a ship, and I think I've got a token for a captain. Give me a second. It appears to be a fast-looking caravel, lightly armed. It is called the Dexterous.
Okay.
Finvasa? Where did I stick this dude? This good ship. Aye, it is, my friend. It's got a good captain, too. Where might you two be headed? Oh, you three, he says. You notice Ashoka was hanging back a little bit.
Actually, we were just hoping for a tour of the bay, if that's all right. How much?
Tour of the bay. He
Just a
glances at
few
you.
hours.
A good ship. Very well. Tour of the bay. 100 crowns will do.
crowns are gold.
Yeah.
Done. When can we set sail?
Those last few boxes are going off, and my men need a bit of a shore leave. The 100 coins will go a long way to making them happy. Good ship. Aye, the Dexterous is a good ship. It's outrun a few scrapes before. Weathered a few storms and outrun even a few pirates. Oh, yes. Pirates. And he tries to make a spitting
Damian
motion.
does it for him.
He ends up just sort of like... Captain Beechwood just basically lets you go up onto his ship and kind of tethers the he runs a rope through the wheels of the chair.
Okay.
Small crew. We're not going to put up sails. At least not all of them. But I don't mind going around the harbor a bit.
No, just a few hours. An old sailor, relive his glory days.
Forecastle. He wants up at the front of the ship.
Okay.
You and Captain Beechwood find yourselves lifting him up there. There you go, old timer. Has he got a name?
Oh, this is Lord Jacques-Pierre Roquestel.
Captain.
My mistake, Captain.
Roquestels. Huh. He's looking at you like, your old man?
No, an acquaintance. Damian Van Impe extends a hand.
Unfurl the sail! Take up anchor!
Seems you have some competition, Captain.
He takes a step back, he barks out some orders, and the ship takes a kind of like a leisurely cruise. It is a nice day with a gentle breeze, and he doesn't take you very far. He does glance at your coin belt, but he doesn't make an issue of it. He lets you hang out there with the old man.
Yeah, Damian. No, Damian will pay him.
Okay.
In fact, I'll give him 150 just to make sure things.
Okay. He actually gives you an inquisitive look, from the feel of it, he's able to tell that it's too much, and when you kind of indicate that it's good, he just tips his hat and sticks it on his belt and barks out some orders at people who are
Being lazy.
lollygagging. Giving you time to talk to the old man. Ashoka is giving you the signal, do you want me to invade his mind?
We get there, we get there.
He shrugs and then just looks grumpy on the boat. A bit of sea spray as you hit a larger wave, I guess. You can see some porpoises off in the distance. The old man just seems to be drinking it all in.
Do you think it was a ship like this?
He looks up at you.
When they found that orchid.
Oh. Better ship.
I can believe it.
Manticore.
The Manticore. Okay.
It was my first journey. I was a wee lad.
And your father, he was the captain?
No. Grandpapa.
Your grandfather, yes.
Yes. He had the blood. His eyes were like gold coins. He was an angel.
Oh, yes. That's a mother. Okay.
We went to an island, a big island. And there were some bad things there. Grandpapa did not come back from that island. The things there, they tried to get him.
What kind of things?
Evil things.
Spirits? Beasts?
Dreadful beasts. They were drawn to him like moths to flame.
Specifically to him? Or just to people in general?
Partithian! You look like Partithian.
Thin. I guess knowledge, nobility, self.
Yeah, Partithian would have been your grandfather, your great grandfather's brother.
So that would be his great great uncle.
Yep. Partithian.
What did he do?
He saved himself.
From the beasts?
Yes.
How did he do that?
By sacrificing my grandpapa.
And what was it on this island that made them risk these terrible beasts?
Flower.
But what was so special about this flower?
They say the flower bloomed on God's blood.
And Damian's eyebrow raises.
The flower grants long life.
Does it now? And what about you? Did you see one of these flowers? Did you maybe get a piece of one of these flowers?
I licked it.
Damian chuckled. Of course you did.
Some of the other men died when they licked it. I think they ate it or there was too much. It is why I have lived a long time.
It is no doubt your special blood that allowed you to survive such a thing. Allowed
Yes,
you to...
flower is very rare. Could not find it again. I searched on many islands. Your family searched for it too.
And none of us have come up with anything.
No. Our families fought each other. He looks upset about something.
What is it?
I killed Partithian. I shot him in the head.
Well, I'll tell you what. I am a Van Imp. You are a Roquestel. If you can forgive my great-great-uncle for what he did to your grandfather, I can forgive you for what you did to my great-great-uncle. And perhaps you can find some peace.
Okay, tears streaming down his face. Does Damian mean this, or?
Yeah, he doesn't.
Okay.
He sees there's no profit to be had in warring with another noble family. There's profit to be had with making amends with one.
The little bat is wondering when.
And he doesn't give
will
and,
happen.
and he doesn't give
Now?
two shits about his great uncle that he never met.
Right.
Okay, he's gonna-
Okay, tears streaming down his face. He ends up reaching out and holds your hand for a bit.
Okay, he'll hold his hand. Let's just enjoy the rest of your captaining. Captain,
The map. They fought over the map. My father and your family. They tore it to shreds.
okay. Let me guess, you have a piece?
He nods.
My father likely has a piece as well. My father unfortunately can't speak, and many of his things are missing, so...
My son has it now. No, not my son.
Your grandson?
His son's son has it now. Lord Sebastien. He wants the map. He wants the flower. He grew up on my stories. They all did. Our family sigil. Hiding in plain sight.
I thought as much.
It is a poor facsimile. You will know the flower if you ever see it. It is not of this world. It is the most beautiful thing I have ever seen. And I licked it.
Why does Sebastien want the flower? Is he too desire?
He knows that I live for a long time. This could make a family great.
Well, it will certainly make you not die quickly.
Hmm.
They said
Marty?
if a proper alchemist could concoct a potion from the flower, he could restore youth to an old man.
Well,
Longevity.
perhaps we can come to an arrangement.
Oh, they do not let me do anything anymore.
Perhaps you just need to put your foot down.
Lord Sebastien is in power now, or his son, I forget.
Jean-Pierre, all you need is a good lawyer.
Yeah. he just waves it off. I've seen many things. When my time comes, it will come. I hear the angels, they are singing. But there's something wrong with their song.
Things are not quite as they should be these days, it seems.
You could say that again. Aye, we're heading back in, says the captain.
Thank you, Captain.
Today was a good day.
Well, think my friends and I will take you home now. And I would greatly appreciate it if you could convince your guards not to shoot us on sight.
The scaled one telecorked us, didn't he?
Yes, you did.
Bring me back into my tower, where I will die.
He can bring us back to the front of the castle. He was not in the tower. I'll be more than happy to bring you back.
No, make the fat guards push me up the ramp.
Done.
Hey, death rattle, cough, and,
Yeah.
you know, death it cometh for us all.
Yep.
Ashoka, are we done here?
Yes. Would you mind returning us to the castle?
Okay, he casts invisibility first.
Okay. That's a Phineas trick.
Hey, anytime, says the captain.
Good day.
You ever looking for a good ship?
I will be. If you're in port, you'll certainly be my first choice.
Where you headed?
Not entirely sure yet, but the tropics.
He's basically, you took an old man and took an old sea dog out for a little day trip, and you paid well. He's got no problems with you. In fact, you've indirectly made a good friend. And the Dexterous, apparently, this old man said, out of all the ships that were in port today, this is the one that he picked out.
Yeah, and that's good to know, actually. Yeah, so we teleport back.
Okay. Yeah, there's a bunch of guards prowling around. Hey, there he is! you quickly turn around and leave him in the street? Is that what...
No.
Okay.
I have my swords. He needs his stuff.
Oh, okay. Hey, you! They one of them grabs your arm and...
Oh, touchy.
Some minor noble of the Roquestels is down there. He's what's all the meaning of this? Who gave you permission to take out our grandfather?
Your grandfather.
He can't do that.
Really? Is that what you'll say when you're old and bound to a chair? That, oh, well, I can't make my own decisions now?
Lord Sebastian will hear of this.
Well, I hope he does, and I hope he decides to treat his grandfather with more respect.
Okay, they reluctantly give your blades back. Because apparently Lord Sebastian is not here. They're just happy to have the old man back. They do a cursory look to see if he's okay, and then the two guards are playing paper, rock, scissors to see who pushes him up the ramp.
Yeah. My lord, it has been my pleasure.
He kind of gives you like a salute. And...
Captain? He walks, walks away.
Damian can be nice. When Damian wants something, I'm like, what the fuck? Damian all of a sudden's an angel when he wants something.
Very nice. It's when you have nothing he wants that he's a mean, vindictive bastard.
Ashoka says, so you antagonize your own family, but are nice to your enemies.
Yes, that's how family works, isn't it?
Nem would
he seems genuinely confused by the comment.
Nem would be pleased with your behavior and your path of politeness, says Ashoka.
Well, you know, you attract more flies with honey than vinegar, I believe they say.
We learned a lot from him.
Yes. Also, we have a good line on a good ship from an expert.
Did it have any cannons, Marty?
Yeah, it had minimal armaments, as caravels are small, but it does have cannons.
Okay, question. Can you use Is there magic that will rebuild the map?
If you had the composite
piece.
pieces, you could put it back together with a spell, but you need the
No.
pieces to do it.
I mean, a piece.
No.
No.
Locate
Alright.
object?
You could locate object if you knew what you're looking
Knew
for.
what
Yeah?
it was, yeah.
Yep.
Here's my suggestion. Let's search the place for a bit of this map.
Okay, so you spend another day searching the Van Imp Manor.
No.
Yeah, if it's that important, your father would not have left it.
You're probably right. It's like with wherever he put his library.
Do you want me to search for their map?
No, not yet.
Alright,
Be blatantly obvious we took it.
yes. But perhaps I can scope out and see who this Sebastian is.
That, on the other hand, would not be out of line. I'm sure I'll be hearing from him shortly.
Sure. I'll go and look around and see where he lives. Guards and security and things like that.
Thank you, Sid.
No problem.
Okay, Damian, searching around your family manor, you don't find anything. In fact, just a lack of stuff. You doubt
This
anything
is-
more. Like you did find that one compartment in the desk.
Yeah.
Nothing else
There's
is
nothing
of value
else.
here.
This is hard work. Ashoka, let's go back to the brothel.
Ashoka says, we should go back to Princeport. It is where the ships come and go.
Fine. But I'm relatively sure the brothels there aren't as good as the ones here. I'm just warning.
And what is Sid doing?
First, Sid wants to find out if the office of their business of the Roquestels,
Mm-hmm.
is here or if it's in the port.
Got it.
Sid's like,
So
"Dude,
you're
you
gonna
know
spy
everything."
on their castle, basically.
I want to
and-
spy on their castle, but if they also have, I assume they will have an office in the port city, so he'll also want to spy and go through the books there. Just do that in the evening.
Okay, give me a perception check.
Sure.
And your stealth is through the roof, so I don't think anyone.
Yeah.
Uh,
No. So you want a perception? He's also using the compartment thing. Not certain the trapdoor potion for detect
detect secret doors. Got it.
secret doors. Thank you. And the perceptions of this man, not traps, right? Or is it traps?
Nope.
It is fucking 16 and
Okay, so you do notice that there are offices in the castle. You didn't have a time enough to go through all the books or to even start going through it. You didn't see any obvious maps that were really old. You did see maps, however. They do have dogs in the tower, and your smell started driving them crazy.
Okay.
So you kind of
I'll leave.
you haunted their castle for an evening before returning to Ashoka and Damian. You got the sense that Lord Sebastian wasn't home. That in fact a lot of the people who live there were just not there.
I want to pick up hairs from Lord Sebastian's bedroom, like his brush. Take hairs from his brush. Take hair from his wife's brush. His kids.
Okay, so you're collecting hairs from the noble family. Okay, you've got 6 samples of hairs from various noble-looking beds. You're not sure whose hair is who, though.
Okay. 6 samples from nobles. Raquettes or something.
The Roquestel.
Roquestel.
I like the Roquestel because Quest is in the middle of their name.
Where are they off requesting? What else?
Ashoka teleports you back to Princeport later that evening. And you manage to find a room at an inn. The next morning, you check in with the harbor master. I think I remember who you're talking about. He asked a few captains, and he didn't find any.
Sense motive.
I think he might have gotten aboard a different kind of ship.
What do you mean a different kind of ship?
He looks over his shoulder. He's waiting for a bribe.
Oh, you think I'm that kind of fool. I see. Spit it out.
Intimidate check.
Yep.
With a snake man.
22.
Yeah, Ashoka can aid.
More.
I wonder if I can aid.
I know someone who might know.
Fine.
He smiles.
He throws 10 gold pieces.
Looking a little light, sees Ashoka. Go and ask for Skeebles One-Eye.
Skeebles One-Eye. What interesting names you people have.
It's not my people.
Where would I find this Skeebles One-Eye?
Oh, he hangs out in the Lost Anchor.
I missed that. Sorry, Marty. The
Lost anchor.
Lost Anchor? Okay. Lost Anchor. Yeah.
Careful not to step on a nail or touch anything.
Lovely. Have a nice day.
He gives you a look over and then kind of like Ashoka gives him the creeps. And soon you find yourselves out of like a ramshackle warehouse turned into brothel, gambling hall, dock worker bar.
What the fuck is this place?
It's kind of dilapidated. It's partially falling in. It is really dirty. You could see someone actually cleaning fish at one of the tables.
That's lovely.
Yeah, this is the type of place where you go when you don't have two coppers to rub together.
Okay.
Apparently my VC is frozen while I make a face.
At least you don't have a derp face.
It was a very lost video feed. Let's see. You want to restart the call? I will restart the call.
It's up to you.
Yeah. Oh, now I'm gone altogether. Ugh, my camera isn't working. Give me a second. Let me fix that.
Okay.
Let me restart VC. This thing working again. Because it is good to see your players and to have your players see you. Ahmed. Call. Mark. Call.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's not a video. XSplit broadcaster, no.
It's a window within the window.
Camera in use. Weird. Weird. Let me see if I can fix that. Oh yeah, my camera was in use by the other XSplit thing. So let me delete that. Remove. And then I'll restart BC one more time. There we go.
That's better.
Yeah, now we'll get our faces back instead of our chats. Okay, so you go to this bar.
And we got an omelet.
You ask around, and you do find that there is a
Skeebles One-Eye.
Yep. Let's get everyone's pictures back. And then chat. Every single time I change views, I need to reset everything, which is really annoying.
Okay.
I wish. XSplit would fix that. Okay. Yeah. I do have a token somewhere for Skeebles One-Eye. You think he's a gnome?
Sorry, what was that?
You are at a a dock worker brothel / bar on in the slums of Princeport, near the harbor, and the harbor master had told you Marcel van Impe, Damian's brother, didn't book passage. He remembers him now and sent him to go see a guy named Skeebles.
Marty.
Yep.
I'm just on Twitch, and right now it just told me we're. Oh, hang on. Never mind. It came back up. Yes, we're looking for Skeebles.
Okay.
Ah, someone said you're looking for Skeebles.
Yeah, you can see that one of his eyes is like glass, like a glass sphere. He smells wretched, although there's a peculiar scent that is trying to mask it. That is from an odd smelling tobacco. He's some sort of gnome or halfling, maybe a halfling.
All right, Skeebles, I take it.
Anyone else in here with one eye?
Probably.
After she got it right in the eye. What do you want? You all dressed kind of fancy for a place like this. You're looking to catch something.
Well, sort of. Looking for my brother. He would have
Ashoka,
been another one who was dressed all fancy.
Ashoka is like trying not to touch anything while he's sitting at a table, and he gives you the sign like, "Should I charm this guy?"
Yes.
Ashoka's gonna excuse me.
Oh, say excuse yourself. Excuse me. Bunch of lords coming into this place making us all feel bad about ourselves. And I was feeling quite good about myself earlier.
Yeah.
That's when she got it in the eye.
All right then.
What's you on about your brother? You lost it? You lost your brother?
Yes, that's a fairly accurate description of my current circumstance.
It's a sad story, that is.
Well, sort of. I would like to find him, nonetheless.
Oh, you looked to find your brother.
Well, I'd like many things. I'd like a pie. I'd like a new pipe. A bag full of gold.
Well,
Maybe find a long-lost lover.
well, I don't know that we can do anything about your long-lost lover. A pie pipe and a little bit of gold, I think we can manage.
Oh, well, aren't you a saviour?
Something like that. Let me buy you a drink.
Maurice, get me a tankard as tall as my head and a pie. A meat one. Not no mystery meat. I want mutton.
Yes.
Some guy looks at you,
Maurice.
Hey, Spain.
kind of bobs up and down and goes and runs and
He
fetches
just kind of
something.
nods like, yeah, I'm paying for your crap.
So he attacks the pie with reckless abandon. He hollows it out, leaving the crusts along the side.
Never like to have crusts.
And then drinks half of this gigantic flagon of dark-looking ale. Actually smells and looks pretty good.
We've been eating a lot of fish.
He says after a large burp where there was just an awful smell that came back up.
Oh my, no.
It's good for my eyesight.
Sure. Now about my brother.
Oh, yeah. You know what's missing from this table? I hollowed out a nice bit of space here.
Where?
The pie crust in the pie pan. He's pointing at it.
It should look shiny.
Ashoka?
Ashoka looks bemused. I think he's gonna make a will save versus the mental domination. Well, let's see. This guy's will save. Well, that's pretty good.
I doubt it worked. I don't know why, but this guy doesn't seem real will-savey.
Could you look up Ashoka's DC while I find this guy's will save?
It's 20 something.
That sounds about right. Let's get the exact
I
number.
think it's 23 or 4.
Yeah, it's
I found the build for Cowardly Rogue. Oh my god, will +1, +2 for Halfling. Or no, +1 for Halfling, +2, and he's got an item. +3, he failed.
Hey, look, it should look.
His head goes down right into the pie. Ashoka just raises his hand. I suggest you tell him what he wants to know.
I tell you what you ought to know. Your brother, his name was Marcel, wasn't it?
yes, it was.
He came here in the spring. He was looking for someone that could help him with a bit of a problem.
And what was that problem?
Don't know exactly, but he was looking for some assholes of the sea, some pirates.
Was he now? Legitimately shocked at his brother's ambition.
He was asking about how he goes about to get to a pirate town called Skeltar.
And how would he get to Skeltar?
Any ship flying the right colours can get to Skeltar. It's a dangerous place, but you can go there. You should talk to my cousin Krusty. He lives in Skeltar.
And what could we give Krusty to let him know that we're good friends?
Kind of twitches and flips like a fish a little bit. You notice Ashoka must be talking to him in his head.
Yeah.
Or you could give him my pipe. He'll know that I sent you to Skeltar if you had my favourite pipe.
Okay. Well, that's very generous of you. Thank you. And he's looking around like, look, everybody, he gave me his pipe.
Just don't fly any country's flags, no kings, no imperium when you get into Skeltar. Any captain worth his salt will know that.
Okay. Oh, hang on a sec.
It's like neutral ground. Krusty will be able to show you around. Oh, and no deal on Skeltar is beneath the purview of the skull. They have a song about it.
What was the guy's name again that we're supposed to meet?
Crusty.
Krusty, yes.
I think he left with a nasty feller.
And what was his name?
Not sure.
What boat did they leave on? Says Ashoka.
I think it was the Cutter's Gar.
The Cutler's Gar.
Cutter's Gar. Cutter's Gar. Cutter's Gar.
Okay, I know.
Ashoka snaps his fingers. Oh, look at that. You've got a bit of pie in your face. And Ashoka's just...
Is there anything else you wish to know? I got to tell you everything you want to know.
Did you betray my brother in any way?
No, I arranged a meeting with the man who Cutler's guard the boats that are repainted. The boats that come in here under different names. They know to come to me. I book passage for a fee.
Alright then. So you made the introduction with a man you don't know his name?
He was the type that your brother was looking for. He seemed to know who your brother was.
He did.
Creepy fella. Said he was a priest of a sea god.
Do I remember anyone like this from my... No?
Sea God's Fury.
Did he have a funny hat?
No, but he had a strange ring. It was like octopus tentacles climbing up his hand.
Do I remember that from...
Oh, no, it's a very specific thing. I don't know if you were ever in the same room as the person I think you're thinking about.
No. No, I wasn't. Okay. And when did the ship leave?
It was in the spring sometime. I don't remember the exact date.
Has it been back since?
No, not to my knowledge. I got the sense that your brother was up to something and that he needed pirates. He had lots of books and things with him. Looked like he was going to be gone for some time. He also had a pea shooter.
Okay. Thank you.
I got
Thank
to
you.
tell you everything that you need to know.
Are we done with him?
I believe so.
I will relinquish him from my power when we leave.
Good. Stick your fingers in your ear. Don't listen to us.
I got to tell you what. And you notice Ashoka waves his hand, and all of a sudden he's like, put his hands on his ears, and he's rocking back and forth.
Sid,
Yes.
On my bat. Sid will come around from under the table.
His little. You didn't even know he was there. Well, you knew he was there. You just didn't know
Yeah.
exactly where he was.
yeah, it's just a thing Damian does now. He calls out Sid.
It's like you're familiar. You're familiar of death. Okay, Sid looks, just a varmint, little verminous thing.
He's like that. Who's that vampire? Yeah, it was a vampire. I think in a Bugs Bunny cartoon who would just like turn from a bat, just like hello. Sid, my brother's departure in the spring, does that seem to correspond with when the raids started getting worse? Or was that after?
Good question, Marty.
The 5 books disappeared in the summer. Or this is the 5 ships, I mean. Or was it 5 or 6?
5, I believe.
Yeah.
And how long ago? And when did his brother go?
In the spring.
So his brother went in spring, and the ships disappeared in summer.
Correct.
You need to have it.
You need to speak with your father. There's some shit you don't know.
Yeah? Yeah? Yes, we do.
Also, we
John Gray SP, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel. Let us know if you have any questions. Nightbot is showing you to where there are some episode guides from past episodes, but don't be afraid to ask a few questions if you need to. Welcome to the channel.
we can find your brother. We have samples of his hair and his skin.
We can find him, but we can't get to him.
Sure we can.
Ashoka glides in. My teleports are not as long range as required.
Then get the proper scrolls.
I don't know where this Skeltar is.
If we can see your brother, can we teleport to him? With a proper spell.
Does Ashoka know how to scry?
I think so. I would be shocked if Adam didn't take that, quite frankly, but we'll look.
It could be he just doesn't have it yet. Yet being
Yeah,
the
that's
operative
possible
word.
as
I
well.
think he doesn't have it yet.
Ashoka Maruya, 11th level sorcerer. Let's have a quick look at his spells, and I will share this with the stream just
He
because we
does
can.
not. He does not have scry.
He can communicate over long distances. He can dominate people, which is also a weird form of communication over long distance, and he can teleport. He does not have scrying, which I believe is 4th for wizards, or is it 5th?
Oh, for wizards, it might be 5th actually.
Or am I thinking of? I don't know what I'm thinking. We haven't played in a week and a half. All the knowledge is leaching from my mind. I thought it was an earlier level for wizards. It is 5th for cleric, 4th for sorcerers and wizards.
Okay, that's all right.
He does not have Dimension Door, Dream Shield, Charm Monster, and Dimensional Anchor. Interesting.
All right. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to buy a scroll of... What is it we need, Ashoka?
Scrying.
Scrying, and the other one that's better than what you do, but similar to it, that this guy is talking about. Sid.
I assume I've seen Vogel do these spells.
Which ones?
The greater teleport.
You guys have this inkling that there are teleports that could get you anywhere, but Ashoka is shaking his head like it's beyond us. We
But
might
if we
have
had
to.
a scroll,
There is another way, a slightly more time-consuming way,
traveling on a boat.
to this Skeltar place. Yes.
Yes, I suppose we could do that.
Here's an interesting question.
I can best not hear you if I'm over there. And Skeebles gets up and goes across the bar, and he's like far from you and holding his ear.
Sid's pointing. Sid's got his hand like on. You see a handle of a crossbow. It's like,
Oh, did Sid turn back into Sid form?
well, you speak. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, okay.
No. Yes. No. Yes.
A couple of people at the table next to you kind of got up and left, like after they saw Sid appearing and Skeebles acting weird. Like you're getting a little bit of attention, but nobody that's brave enough to make a deal out of it.
Marty, knowledge or spellcraft.
4.
Sid has the ability to. This is interesting. I don't know if it will work. He has the ability to shrine walk, which is basically word of recall. Right?
It's called Shrine Walk.
Shrine walk, yeah. And
Oh, it's a rogue thing, yeah.
Yeah, it's the same as word of recall, except it's you have to draw your sign or symbol on.
Oh, this is an advanced rogue talent that you picked up that gives you word of recall. Yeah, your sigil right now is in
Vaddapol.
Right.
Yeah. So once placed, so this mark is not magical, and if defaced or erased, can no longer can create her own shrine by simply designating an area in any urban region by placing a unique mark or rune on a wall or the ground.
It must be a very familiar place.
But for me, I only have to place a mark, just like draw my rune on something. My question is this: Can the mark be drawn remotely while with me watching it, and then using that? Because if we can get Ashoka to command someone through a scry,
Yeah, you can give me a knowledge arcana, a spellcraft maybe.
I can give you a knowledge arcana. My spellcraft is garbage.
I need
Ashoka. All right, hang on.
Sid to.
so spellcraft 29. Give me assist. Assist.
Hang on. Ashoka can auto assist. 31.
Okay, word of recall is a 6th level spell. 15 plus double spell level is 27. So no, you're the one who has to make it. You are putting magic into the rune. It is not just the symbol.
Just the symbol.
If somebody copied it, it wouldn't work.
Fine. Okay.
You're mixing it with your magical urine or whatever. But no, that was pretty clever. Of like, how do I turn my defensive recall spell into a travel spell? You are making a very interesting point here. You could put the recall spell onto a ship.
Yes.
Perhaps the ship is large enough to act as a position. Would effectively allow Sid to travel to the ship wherever the ship is. I believe word of recall is unlimited in its
That's right.
range.
I can put it anywhere. Right now we can get to Vaddapol. I haven't written it here yet because, well...
It does mean that Sid would not be required. Then we scry upon Sid and teleport to him.
That works.
Now to convince a captain to go to Skeltar without anyone with him, unless you wish to take a voyage. I sense that you're trying to avoid something in Vaddapol, Damian.
Oh no, nothing in Vaddapol bothering me.
It's what's on the way to that.
You know, just the dupe going mad and whatnot.
Yes, that. Ashoka doesn't seem to be bothered by it. So Sid makes his mark on the boat, and then you send the boat off to somewhere, and then you zip back into the boat. That is such an awesome way of going on a journey, but Not.
Not.
Very cool.
Or even in a caravan.
Yep.
So,
Do you think that nice captain that we took a pleasant cruise with yesterday would be willing to travel to Skeltar?
I think between the two of us, we could convince him.
Ah.
You'd need to be able to scry on his ship. Maybe take a little bit of the wood.
No. Take a bit of his hair, nails, clippings, droppings, whatever you do, Sid.
Yes, these are difficult things to acquire from, say, a handshake.
Yeah,
I'm sure Sid can sneak aboard and snoop around in the captain's quarters. Or is that beyond your skill?
I'm sorry, is this your butthole?
No.
I'll go and get it for you, no problem.
All right. We'll visit the captain in the morrow.
No, I'll just go get it now. We'll meet where
No, that's what I mean. I was going to say, go get it now. We'll visit the captain in the morrow.
You notice that there's a bunch of people fussing over Skeebles. Apparently he's like a barfly and a regular, and you can see like, what's wrong? I can't. I don't want to hear them. I don't want to hear them.
La 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 la.
I think we're about done here. Let's be off before someone gets upset with what we've done to their friend.
Yep. Just before he leaves, Ashoka snaps his fingers, and you notice,
Hey, hey! What's it?
devils. Skeebles is angry. Hey, they took my pipe. Is the last thing that you hear. You mark down Skeebles'
Yeah, I got it down.
Ivory pipe.
I got it down.
It's in a bold Bronson style, but shrunk for halfling. I don't know. I'm just making shit up at this point.
That's Ashoka.
Passage aboard a ship.
Pipe for...
So Marty, you want me to? What do you want me to roll for stealing the hair,
Well,
clippings and stuff?
you go to see the Dexterous. It's Caravel.
Yeah.
Are you going there under the cover of night, or are you going there to actually arrange passage first?
I'm just going
what are
in
you
there
doing
to
there
steal like nail clippings.
Okay, so while you're stealing, Ashoka and Damian are going to hunt down the captain, who's probably with his men spending the 150 gold coins that you gave them the day before. Give me a stealth check and a disabled device check, as the captain's quarters are locked.
Okay. So stealth as Sid or not Sid?
Oh, and a perception. Perception first.
Okay, so perception. Trap.
Mm-hmm.
27.
The DC of a trap is 25 plus spell level. There is an alarm spell on the captain's door.
What level is the alarm?
It's also locked, and you also see that there's an arcane lock on the door.
Is there a window?
They're like portholes, but nothing that really opens. They're like windowish things that are built into the side of the ship. There is there must be a small furnace or something. You do find an exhaust pipe. Like there's an air duct.
So the alarm spell, did I observe it? Did I see
Yeah,
it?
yeah. You saw the alarm spell, and you see also the arcane lock, which will make the door more difficult to pick open.
Now, disable device. Okay, hold on. I think I can do that. I think I can do it.
Yep, you can try to disable the alarm. It's specifically around somebody tampering with the lock. I also, at this point in time, need a stealth check, as they've left a like a couple of drunk guards to.
45.
Okay, you can actually hear the drunk guards. They're playing dice half-heartedly while sharing a big jug of rum.
I don't want to set them off. So actually, I'm gonna go look for the captain.
Okay.
He's got a hat, right?
Yeah. So you take it. You decide you're going to take a different tact. So you end up going and following Ashoka and Damian after a short while. You fly after them and you see them going into a rough and tumble kind of place, but not as skeezy and dirty as the Lost Anchor. I need a bar name, just because.
Slimy squid.
Barracuda's breath.
Slimy squid. Slimy squid.
Fine. The Barracuda and the Slimy Squid.
Fox and grouse and the Barracuda and squid.
Yeah, Barracuda and Squid. All right, so yeah, there's a stuffed barracudas along the top, along the ceiling, hanging down from little hooks, and Slimy Squid is kind of painted on behind the bar, and its tendrils are going through all around the inside walls of the place. And it looks like the furniture is really thick and has been punished a little bit, as there are a couple people playing fingers with daggers. There's a guy with a fiddle that is. You want to call it a dance floor, but it's kind of like they're doing this, the kicking dance, but they're trying to kick each other while kicking, and there's a halfling running around. They're trying to kick the halfling. Like there's a bit of kind of pandemonium in this place. It's loud. It's rough. You're jostled into. Ashoka just takes a deep breath. He ignores any of the insults, like water off of a snake's back. And then you do find the captain and his men are here. They are in the middle of a good old-fashioned drunk.
Captain!
Oh, if it isn't my friend, looking after the elderly. An elderly captain. I'll be so glad to have a careful, noble caretaker when I'm finally retired. Men, it is his coins that have bought the drinks and whores tonight.
That's the way to spend them.
Have a seat. Have a drink. And he just kind of grabs a bottle of wine and puts it into a random cup and sticks it into your hands.
He'll drink. I have some more coin I'd like to spend, actually.
He looks up at Ashoka, and Ashoka just politely, no, just wraps himself in shadow and sits down at a side seat, trying to stay out of everyone's way. You feel Sid brush by you, I guess, kind of like flap by you.
Sid is actually Sid, because the captain hasn't seen Sid before.
Oh, okay, yeah. So Sid just comes in.
He's not affiliating with Damian or Ashoka.
All right. Well, they're sitting with their backs to you. He's got maybe about 15 men. It's hard to keep account. You don't know which ones are his or not. A lot of sailor-looking types, dock workers, ladies of the night.
I have some more coin I'd like to spend.
Oh, I'm drunk.
I'm all ears.
Have you ever been to a place called Skeltar?
Skeltar. I know of it. This isn't some sort of Imperial Inquisition, is it?
Oh, no, nothing like that. I'm looking for my brother, actually.
Your brother? Your brother's amongst poor company if he's gone to Skeltar.
Agreed. Nonetheless, that is where he's gone.
Although it's one of the more hospitable places if you're dealing with pirates, is what he says quietly.
I'm aware.
Apparently the Lords of Skeltar a long time ago made some deal with the Imperium. It's sort of a free port, if you catch my meaning.
I think I do.
No one's allowed to fly the flags there, although every once in a while people of Skeltar will break the rules.
place will get shelled by some Imperial war galleon, and then it just goes back to business as normal. Weird place. Of course, the jungle makes men weird.